it's Dre. Sorry. My first time's always hard. I always forget. Okay, ready? Hey guys! Shoot! Yes. Welcome back to our channel. Okay, ready?
You love me like yeah. You love me like no. You love me like oh. You love me like yeah. You love me like no.
Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. It's
Dre
and Bre, and you're watching Worth the Wait. Ooh.
Sorry we were gone for so long. Bre was on vacation, soaking up sun in Florida. And guess what? She left Dre in Virginia, in the DMV. But she's all well rested, vacationed out. Well, she can never be vacationed out.
No.
But we're back with more videos, and we got some cool new videos and topics coming up too. Some things we're gonna ask for your participation, and want you to write us. We're gonna explain it all. There'll be a flyer and everything. So make sure you stay tuned to our page, Worth the Wait, and our personal page as well. So today, tell them what we're talking about today, Bre.
So we're talking about baggage, and we're calling this video "Leave That Crap at the Door: How to Deal with Baggage in Your Relationship."
So we're going to talk about our experience first and what baggage was brought into our relationship and how we dealt with that.
Disclaimer: it's one-sided, okay?
She always says that.
We literally I gave you 5 minutes to try to think of anything that was baggage that you brought to the table, and it was nothing.
I said I was impatient.
And he was not, and you are not. What are you talking about? No. Anyways, let's get into this. You want to talk about personal experience?
Go ahead. You tell about your...
So, I'm going to put my backpack on, and let's pull out the bag, okay? First baggage I had was financial baggage, because your girl was uneducated on how loans actually work, and I had multiple people in my business that was making percentages or that I just owed money to, and so long story short, there's a lot of people financially that I had to handle or deal with, and some still am dealing with.
So you had a lot of debt.
Okay, I had a lot of debt. That's what I'm saying. Okay. Anywho, what else is in the bag? Boom!
Not even debt though. Also the knowledge.
You just mess up my whole...
I'm just saying that just to get it's not only because you have people who brought student loan debt into a relationship, but also financial mindset she had.
Yeah, I was out here spending money. Basically. Mindset was just off. I'm not gonna redo the bad thing because you messed it up, but the other thing was I was getting out of a relationship that was just being cheated on and all that good stuff. So it was a little bit of, I wouldn't say trust issues. I didn't have trust issues. I more so just thought that I was never gonna find a guy that had all the things I was looking for. So I would say that the baggage was feeling discouraged in men, okay? Baggage number 3 was basically, I can't remember what my baggage number 3 was gonna be.
What? The daddy thing?
Oh, yes! Baggage number 3, daddy issues. And I had just discovered my daddy issues as me and Dre were we were friending, dating, I don't know.
But okay. We're in a relationship yet.
I was still long distance. I live in Cleveland. Another thing was anger, which I'm better at, but that was a huge baggage because in all my other relationships, I was able to be angry and it was fine because they were angry too. And so it was I thought it was normal. So I had that. What else? What were you gonna say? I saw it.
Yeah,
there's something else. What else?
I don't know. You covered pretty much. The anger one was a big one. I think that was...
Anger, daddy, finances. Finances. Is that it?
I think so.
Oh, that makes me feel a little better. And to make this very quick, Dre had none. So his bag's empty. He didn't even have on a bag. Like, nothing. Okay? So let's talk about how we dealt with those things and how we're still dealing with those things. Take it, Dre. Make it look good.
So the thing is that when it comes to baggage, you can't control, because you have to look at the heart of the person at the end of the day, right? To see if that person, you know, is a really good person. Now, their past experiences, you don't know their situation, what things impacted her. Like, she can't control her dad leaving when she was how old? 4. Like, she can't control that, and subsequently how everything has affected her thereon or from then on. But when looking at, I told her this because she was like, she was looking at, we was talking with some of our friends, Antonio and Cece, and we were over at Antonio's house, and she was saying like, why did you even like take a chance on me? Like, why did you even?
I thought I don't know. I was like, well, let's see what this turns out to be, because I didn't get it.
And you remember the job resume?
Oh, I remember the last one because I knew it was another one. My criminal record.
Oh yeah, she had.
Like, I mean, to the point of if I wanted to get a job, I couldn't get a job. So it's like, hey, look at me, your new girlfriend. To the record, can't get a job, can't help you out if things get tough. Like, that was the other thing.
She could have. It wasn't like bad. Like, she didn't do anything.
I didn't kill anybody.
Violent.
It was violent.
Criminal.
It was violent, but I didn't kill anybody.
It wasn't like something that.
For assault. It's violent.
I'm just saying, it wasn't like, you don't have a felony.
I had a felony. I had to go through 2 years probation, and it's a misdemeanor now, but I had to go to court and pay a bunch of money.
Anyways, so baggage. That was a past we need to highlight.
Yeah.
She's not proud of that moment at all.
I was an OG in my past life, as I like to say.
Anyways, do you remember the job resume thing that you had told me when you were like at Antonio's house, when you said, oh, why did you decide to be with me? Like, I wasn't qualified at all for this job, and it's like applying for a job and I wasn't qualified.
Are you asking, do I remember what I said?
Yeah.
I don't know. I was just kind of like, it's like, ooh, look at this job. It looks fun. Let me go in and apply. And then you see the requirements and the person's like, so can you read and write? And you're like, nope. Do you speak English? Not at all. Like, you know, it's like simple things that like clearly you are not checking the boxes. But like, hey, I'm gonna hire you anyways. It's kind of like, what? Really? Why?
So I say that to say is that when the biggest thing I feel like when somebody has baggage, and the way I looked at Brie is that I saw her for who she was. I saw her heart. Just as if somebody's going in for a job interview, you see somebody's potential and what they could be. And the great thing, if we're still using a job metaphor, is that when Brie came in, I looked at her resume, saw that it was kind of blank with the things that I was looking for. Not everything, but you know, some of the things, not foundational per se, but some of the things I was looking for in a wife. But the things that I addressed and talked to her about, she didn't claim as if she knew those things. Like, you all been at job interviews when people are acting like, it's like, oh yeah, I know how to do that. Then once you hire them, they don't know what they said they know how to do. They say they know how to speak French, Spanish, and then like you bring them in to translate and they're like, they have no idea what they're saying. So basically everything that I was talking to Brie about, she would say like, I understand that she didn't stand behind her bad financial choices. I mean, in the sense she said, this is the reason I did them, but I know they're not the right choices. I know that this has affected me. I know that, you know, this has not put me in the best situation, and I want to know how to do better. I want to learn how to do better. Even with the daddy issues thing, as she said at first, she didn't think that it affected her because Brie used to move so fast. And when she wasn't like working, because that was probably another baggage thing, probably a symptom of the daddy issues. Yeah. When she wasn't working, she'll be like out or she'll have a drink to take her mind off of like what's going on in her life and never really slow down to really see how it affected her life in a sense. But she was real honest with admitting what she had or the issues that she had and wanting to fix them and being able to fix them and being open to approaching the idea of correcting these things or trying to get right. I feel like that's the biggest thing with baggage, is that if you identify your baggage, understand that it's there, and understand that you want to get better when you go into a relationship, then I feel like you're moving towards the right direction. And as my pop said when we went over to the house the other day, that when it comes to love, you don't do it, it's not because of, it's regardless of and in spite of. So the reason I love Bre, and the reason why it works, is because the love was true. That I didn't love Bre because she's pretty, or because she had a business when we first met, or because of her body, or because of this. Is that in spite of her not having her finances together, in spite of her having a felony or a misdemeanor, in spite of her having daddy issues, that I still loved her. And I was still willing to be there to help her through whatever issue, because as long as you're working with me and you're understanding that this is a joint effort to try to fix the things that have issues, then we're always going to be in a good space. It's the moment that you shut down and don't want to work on those issues, that's when I think it's going to get really difficult.
Or you don't even address the fact that's an issue. If you just think like, oh, this is how I am, so you have to accept me, because it's like, that's not okay.
Yeah, you have to look at your past, because your past ultimately forms a lot of who you are. Like, you can't have past experiences and just check that off to say guys are like this, or relationships are like this, or love is like this. This is what love is. It's like your experiences have formed a lot of your thought process or your outlook and perspective on life. So be careful when you go into a situation saying that this is like this or that is like that, just because you had past experience, because that could really be your baggage that's in the way, that's kind of messing up your perspective.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and like, so just so you guys kind of know, we're always super transparent. Now we've been together almost 2 years in a month. It'll be 2 years, a month and a half. And like the financial thing, it's still, I'm not Dre yet. When it comes to like my financial thinking, I literally just asked if I could borrow the credit card to like, just do something literally before we film this video. And that's something that I'm trying to stop doing. But I'm better. Don't
discount yourself. The growth from when we first started dating to now, it's tremendous. It's huge. It's huge.
You go, Bre.
I mean, she has issues.
Is that a yes though to the credit card?
Anyways, she has moments of weakness, because Bre's an emotional person. So when she sees something she really likes or sees something she wants, she ultimately wants to get it. But she's starting to break down more of a process of, all right, long-term goals, short-term goals. What are we trying to accomplish? Is this smart? Will I want something tomorrow now that I spent this money today, type thing. So she's doing a lot better, and she's improving. And sometimes with money, you just got to kind of learn your lessons as you do them, and then you understand like, okay, this is why I did this. So that is getting better.
Anger is like tremendously different.
If you knew where she was.
Yeah, it's nuts. Like the drinking thing, we had 2 slip-ups with my drinking as far as like it ending not too well, and Dre being like...
We had one big one that just ended it all, really.
Yeah, I was like, that will never happen.
And ever since then, we haven't had any issues with it at all.
Yeah, so that's good. The daddy, that's completely pretty much dealt with. I haven't dealt with it on a professional level, like talking to somebody else about it, but we talk a lot about those things. We're in marriage counseling now, so like all of the things I feel like will be dealt with by the time we get married. Dre's mom has been a good person too to talk to, because at the end of the day, having issues, we make this very clear for those of you who are like, I don't have daddy issues. Daddy issues aren't actual issues. It's just things that have happened, or the lack of things that have happened in your life that get you to a place where you have not dealt with certain things that can transpire in your life. So like, for example, I wouldn't have been okay with submitting to Dre or understanding what he was even asking me when we had that conversation if I hadn't dealt with why I was this independent, like you shouldn't have to submit, like I don't have to get married type of person, because the lack of my dad. So if your dad's not in your household, you grow up with a very independent mom who does everything on her own, and at the end of the day you say like, I'm gonna be just like that and I don't need a man and I don't need these things. And just because you didn't have a father in your life doesn't mean that you aren't capable of having a husband so that your kids have a father in their life and choosing the right person. And so there's just small things that I have been learning as I mature. Like, hey, I'm affected by X, Y, and Z. So that is something that, you know, we kind of dealt with very head on when I realized was an issue. What's the other thing? The felony stuff, I have not gotten in trouble, not once, since me and Dre have been together, right?
Yeah.
No, I mean, I got a couple speeding tickets, but everyone does that. I mean, some other car-related issues, but not assault-related or making decisions on the fly.
This is Speedy Gonzalez over here.
Yes.
One day we'll share our ticket story with you guys. And you be like, oh, I understand why Brie loves Dre so much.
Yes, pretty bad. What was the other thing?
So, Brie, I have a question for you.
Okay.
In your past relationship, you dated a guy who had, how many, 3 kids?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 kids. And at the point you were even thought about marriage and things like that.
No, they were my children. I was ready to be stepmom.
So, talk about that, like somebody with kids bringing that bag. Well, I don't want to call kids baggage, but it's just added something.
Their baggage in the relationship.
Saying, it's an added, it's an added layer, especially if you have like a baby mother and they're not with the kid's mother, of course, or father. It could be the other way around. If somebody has a child come into a relationship, so what's your perspective?
So there's 2 things, right? Is like, one, if you're someone that already has kids, then I don't think it's that big of an issue because you're in the same boat with that person, and you're obviously pretty much okay with having a blended family, because if you have children, you know that if you have kids, the men that you're typically interested in or in your age range probably have kids too. If you don't have any children, then I think it's a thing, especially for women, that we want our first baby to be like your first too, right? Because it's like, if I have your kid, right, and you got 3 other kids, I think naturally as women, emotional women, and just humans overall, we would feel like kind of in competition. It's like, oh, you're with me, so it's like you're looking at how he's treating his other kids and like how you're treating our kid. But at the end of the day, if you're gonna be with someone that already has kids, you can't look at their kids like they're his kids. They are going to be your kids, even if the mother is someone else or vice versa, the father. And so for me, I never wanted to date a guy with kids because I wanted my baby to be our first baby, and I was okay. But basically what happened is I felt like I fell in love with this guy, and the kids that I looked at as like, this isn't ideal. At the end of the day, I love kids. And so as soon as I met the kids, all the baggage situation talk flew out the window because I was like, oh my God, I love them just as much. And I was willing to say, like, I basically reconstructed my whole thought of what I wanted, right? So I was like, well, I want to adopt anyways. I wanted to have a big family, like 6 kids. I was like, we could just have 3 kids, and then his 3 kids would be the, you know, like the adopted kids for me. And it's like, boom, a big old family. And what I did, and this is something that I see girls do all the time, is we know what we want and what we don't want. But as soon as those characteristics or things show, whether it's children, whether it's like, you know, physical or verbal abuse, we find excuses for it because we're like, oh, but I love him or he loves me. And we try to fit it into our world instead of figuring out what we want our world to look like and fitting people into it that makes sense. So what I would say is, as we were dating, I don't think that him having kids was an issue for me because I saw how he treated his kids and how he was as a father. The issue comes where if you're dating a man that has 3 kids and you've never seen those kids, he's never had to say, oh, I can't do X, Y, and Z tonight because I'm gonna do blah, blah with my kids. If he's not paying child support or supporting those kids, so if you haven't, you know, if you don't know the dynamic of the relationship, it's like, how could you take that man serious if he has all these children you've never met, you barely hear of, he's always spending time with you but no time with his kids? It's like, what do you think is gonna happen when you have a child by that person? It's not going to magically change because it's you that's pregnant. If it's happened to 3, 4, 5, you know, other people, it's like it puts you in a compromising situation to pretty much know that you're putting yourself in something that doesn't really make sense. So I think it's about, if you have kids or don't have kids, what you want, because some women don't want to have kids, but they wouldn't mind being like a stepmom. But it's about what you want. And if you know you don't want something, don't fit your thought of what you want to that person and their situation, because they're probably not the right person.
That's good advice.
Thanks.
I think for me, I've never dated anyone with kids, and so I can't speak to a whole bunch. I'll just say what I said earlier, I think applies here, is that love, true love, is not because of, meaning I love you because of this. True love is I love you in spite of and regardless of. So I feel that if you love somebody truly, that you can accept their kids, that, you know, that can happen, and that you can all be a family. Even my stepdad, I call him Pops. I don't call him Philip or anything like that, because of how he embraced me in our relationship. And my dad, real dad, was in my life up until he passed when I was 16 in high school. But he's just embraced me and has been really like a father to me. But I would say this, is that if you're dealing with someone with kids, not saying that you don't take every relationship serious, but make sure that you really evaluate what you want, because you getting involved in a child's life, especially at an early age, and then get involved with that person, that's just a lot of stuff to really get entrenched and rooted in. And it's really hard to rip those roots, because even in this, I've seen people who have not left bad relationships because they fell in love with the kid.
Yeah.
And it's like, you have to be able to leave the relationship. And they decided to stay in a relationship because they love the kid and they felt like the kid was theirs. They dated somebody for a year or 2, 3, and were in a relationship and taking the kid to school, cooking for the kid, like, and felt like that was their child at one point, and now they can't relieve a bad relationship because they're attached to the child.
Yeah, and we watched the show Family or Fiance, right? And this couple was about to get married, and the man had 2 kids, and basically one of the questions that they asked the girl to see if she was really ready for marriage was if his baby mama took him to court tomorrow and said, like, you know, child support for both the kids, let's say it's $1,500 a month that he needs to pay in child support, do you feel comfortable if, you know, he's not working or whatever, like paying that for his kids, because that's what's gonna have to happen as his wife? And she was not okay with it. So it's like, literally, when you marry someone, which if you're dating someone, the whole point is to one day get married, those kids are going to be your kids. So it's like, you have to be ready to be a stepmom, be a stepdad, and really, I mean, even down to the point of like, you know, how soon do you meet the kids and whatnot, because you want to make sure that if you're dating this person, like how Dre said, like, of course you want to take every relationship seriously, but when kids are involved, it's a whole different thing, right? And whether you're the person with the kids or the person who's going to meet the person or meet the kids of the person that has the kids, that's confusing. It's just super, it's more, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very, not like, what's the word I'm looking for? It's very, it's like you don't want to hurt it, it's fragile, it's the word. Like, oh, don't touch the baby. It's
Fragile.
No.
Just go.
Oh my gosh.
So I feel like it's important to just evaluate the baggage as well. Like, you owe it to the person that you're going to be with not to try to hide it or act like it doesn't exist. Now, in that, you still take your time unpacking it. You don't just unpack or share your thoughts or deepest things with anybody at any time in the relationship. Understanding there's levels that they have to get past and stages for you to open up and for them to learn more about you. But you owe it to that person to, you know, at least be transparent. Like, you have some people who say, like, who got married and found out that they were waiting for marriage and then found out the person had like an STD, or like, you don't tell them about your debt or financial situation, and then you get married and then, like, boom, there it is. Like, certain things you owe it to the person that you're with to discuss these things and identify these things and try to start unpack these things. And then also on the flip side, you have to be honest with yourself on what you can handle and what you can't handle. And there's not, I don't think, a bad way of like, if you feel like, hey, I don't want to mess with somebody or talk to somebody who already has kids, that's your decision. That's the way you want to go about it. And as long as you know that, you communicate that, and don't form some relationship with somebody's kids just because you say want to have sex with that person or something like that, then I feel like that's okay.
And the last thing, which I think is super important that we're going to talk about, is if you are dating someone that has the trust issue baggage, meaning they dated someone in the past that like cheated on them or basically put them in a space where they claim that they can't trust you, or vice versa, if you're the person going into a relationship claiming that you have trust issues. My issue with this is that I have so many friends and family members and people that are in relationships that don't have trust within the relationship, and only like both parties are as equal or are equally to blame. Because if you, like for me, right, I was cheated on. I did not start dating until I was able to take what had happened to me, apply it to like look at like, well, what role did I play in it, and knowing that at the end of the day, just because he cheated on me doesn't mean every other guy that I talk to will, but really like going through that experience and taking time to have self-development to move on from that situation. Because if you stay stuck in this place of, well, every guy I talk to is gonna be like that person, then it's like, imagine if I would've went to a relationship like that with Dre. We probably wouldn't be together right now, because that's not fair to him. He didn't do anything to me. So it's like, so to come in assuming he's cheating or assuming he's doing all these things isn't fair to him. So for me, I had to get rid of that and move past it before, you know, like fully heal before putting myself in another relationship with someone. So on the flip end, if you're the other person and you're dating someone, they're telling you they have all these issues and they act this way because they just can't trust you. I think that the answer to that is, well, then we can't be together. Because at the end of the day, you have to choose to trust someone until they give you, you know, a reason not to. And if you come into the relationship with the excuse of, well, I can't, you know, commit because I have trust issues, you're not giving that person the respect that they deserve, because if they did nothing to you, how can you put that on them? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, I feel like
in that situation?
It's tough in that situation, because like Brie came in, she had somebody who cheated on her. And she came into our relationship really with no trust issues at all. Like, didn't really have an issue with that. But I feel like she had a different perspective on relationships and also a different perspective on the guy. Mm-hmm. Now, say for instance, I did something, then I feel like her next relationship, because how she felt about me and how she feels, like she would think, well, if Dre was cheating, then like, how am I gonna trust this next guy when I thought Dre was like, had it all together and he was here for, so I can see how that can be really hard. And I feel like even those people that happens to, they're still even inclined to still trust people. Mm-hmm. Just don't let people in relationships, as Brie said on the flip side, play the victim. That the reason that they can't commit to you is just because I've just been hurt by so many people.
We've all been hurt.
I can't commit. And it's just, I seen you like something on Facebook of a man or a woman, so I just you're liking pictures. I mean, what is this platform for? I know it's for liking pictures, but why are you liking their picture? I just can't trust you. It's like what? Like, doesn't make any sense.
Make sure you guys follow us on Instagram at We're The Way, at It's Dre Smith, and at Brianna Apante. Make sure you guys stay up to date, and yeah, we will see you soon.
We will see you soon. We got some new stuff coming, so stay tuned.